Hello, everyone, and welcome to the awkward typing screen during the intro. I said you guys couldn't hear it at the start of the show. Everyone on YouTube and Twitch can hear, but I was like, Milo, I can hear you typing. We just started laughing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. This is episode number 6, and today, simply put, I hope you don't mind spoilers, because we're going to be talking strictly in spoilers today. In spoilers for patch 2.55, and because it's a very special episode, we have many very special guests. So before I even do introductions, I'm going to switch to this other overlay right here. So there's more than one of us or two of us here. There's 5 of us. I'm your first host, Michael, Mr. Happy Poveromo. First up is the host you're all used to, Samuel Slyh, a.k.a. Slyh, a.k.a. Greyfox, a.k.a. Slythefox, a.k.a. You my boy, Blue.
You my boy, Blue.
There
my girl,
you
Kupo.
go. Kupo. We got it, guys. Kupo. Remember, we all got to stay cool for this. No. All right. And next up on list is fellow dreamer, Elise Wells. I don't think I've ever had to say your name before this moment. I literally looked at it. I was like, wait, Wells, right? Yeah, Wells. That's not an I.
Wells.
I can see.
Yeah,
the easiest last name, and I somehow screwed it up. A.K.A. Rahhzay, the A.K.A. Moogle Mama, A.K.A. not my boy Blue. Hi, Ross.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Ready to talk
I'm
spoilers?
excited to be here. And hello to my Moogle minions that are watching.
Hi, Moogle Minions.
Hi, Moogle minions.
we're all
You guys are
saying hi.
included. You guys are following me too, so you guys are Moogle minions too.
Oh. Well, that explains why you're in the center. Next,
Sure.
next up on the list. Milo, you look like you're ready to go. We got Tony. I've never had to say your last name. Yeah, you say it. You say your last name.
My name is Tony Schrieffer.
Schrieffer? That's what I wanted to say. But I
yeah,
couldn't.
it's a tough one. You get Schrieffer a lot.
That's what that was the other one. That's how I couldn't decide. Tony Schrieffer. We probably should have discussed this before the show. AKA Milo575. What's going on, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I'm really excited. It's gonna be a good one. Woo!
Woo! So yeah, he's got a lot of energy. He's
I'm ready.
Excited.
He's
Let
very
me out
excited.
of the cage, baby. Let's go.
Well, make sure you might be out of the cage, but you stay in the camera because we need to keep you there.
All right.
And last up on the list, we have Frank Marshall. The only name I've never had to say that I got right in one try, a.k.a. Pookajutsu. What's going on, man?
Hey, it's seriously just great to be here. Yeah, like
Right.
I'm already excited.
You've been streaming a lot more
Pony's
lately.
Yeah, like daily. On the daily.
Well, yeah, you have it out of day infinity, right?
Yeah. I'm going for at least a year. That's my first goal. After that, we'll see what happens. But yeah.
After that second year.
After that second year, and after that, I become an admin on Twitch. No.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Totally how it works. Yeah, so we got the Pook Ponies, the Moogle Mama, the Blue Boys. Milo, we need yours. Milo.
I'm sorry. What? Oh, what?
Milo, take a step back. We need
let him out
yours.
of the cage, and
so
He's
Still
having
the
too
cage.
much fun, like being
the
up close to the
cage.
camera. Like, what's up, guys? Hey.
I'm loving this chat right now.
Hey.
Are you Skrillex?
My
Skrillex.
nickname?
Yeah, what would be your stream name if you needed any of them? Because we got everyone here has one, but we need yours.
I like Wand
don't
Squad.
The Wand Squad,
Work in progress, but right now we got Wand Squad.
One boys, one squad. All right.
It's
We got-
more of
alright.
It's more of a feeling. It's hard to really translate into words, but that's what we're working with
I
now.
feel like that's like your entire stream. Just
What?
like,
It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe.
Stream once a day. Anyway, we're all dreamers. We're all part of the Dream Network. If you don't know about us, you should check it out. If you just type in the chat live, you just type !dream. You can find all about the website and everything. And also, if you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description of the video. But we have a lot to talk about. Extra long introduction because we're going to have a lot to talk about. And it's going to be interesting trying to get 5 points of view on this one. Patch 2.55 Spoilercast. Now, we have everything we want to talk about in order here. But I'm in one word or phrase, each one of you, patch 2.55 story, go. Everyone's trying to think of one word on the spot. Everyone's like, crap, I didn't think about
that
this.
pretty much is my word. It's just speechless.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
Game
Just
of
like-
Thrones.
One face then that you would make. One face you made while reacting to it. Just make it at the camera
this
right
is my
now.
permanent face right here. Just
Just-
Milo, what's wrong?
I
Milo, if you made that face while watching, I don't think we're talking about the same game.
Certain parts.
I think my word is what.
Wait, was that a Kriegasm? I just realized, Milo.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Okay. I thought, okay, we're not gonna. That's
Unpredictable.
okay. Unpredictable. There you go. All right, so we have a lot to talk about for the patch 2.55 spoiler cast, and right off the bat, we have to talk about Ishgard and the Steps of Faith. Now, last week, we talked about the fight in itself. We're going to try not to talk about that at all. So, let's just cover a few points, because this isn't really the big part that everyone wants us to talk about, but we should probably cover it. First up, Lady Iceheart. So, I forgot she got away back in 2.4, and she's now like a central enemy. Like, she's not just she's gone and done when she was Shiva. She's like a big thing now, and she's going to continue to be a big thing. I mean, what could she possibly do after this point? Like, what could she possibly be doing with the dragons at this point?
Now, is it the dragons or is it just one dragon in particular? Because we know that she's doing this for Nidhogg, but is she doing it for all 7 dragons? That's what I'm confused about. Like, if you kind of go back to that cutscene in Estinian, when Estinian talks about it, he says Lady Iceheart is kind of doing this for Nidhogg, but he doesn't mention any of the other 7 dragons, just Nidhogg.
It's been just Nidhogg a lot. What about you guys? What about everyone else? Sly's normal here. He knows how to just take the reins on that one. What about you guys?
I'm not really sure. Like I think that it's probably going to be with the Dravanians themselves, not just with a certain dragon. She seemed she just has a beef with Ishgard. Like she's ever since like we've seen her, she's just had a beef with Ishgard in general, and I think it's the enemy of my enemies here. I don't know.
Not sure.
As far as Iceheart. Now, Shiva herself, that's something different, and I don't know if we're getting Iceheart's motivations are Shiva's, or if she was just using Shiva to further her own motivations.
Yeah, I think it's mostly Shiva using it to her own. But yeah, Slyh, you mentioned Estinian, and he's actually an interesting character because this is really the first time this has happened. But the main story has started to conflict with the job quests.
Yes.
And I don't know, Milo and Raj, you guys haven't had an opportunity to speak yet, but do you know how Estinian works when it comes to the Dragoon storyline? Have you guys done that one? Have you guys seen it?
I did that one, and I meant to go back before the podcast and kind of like refresh my memory on Estinian and his role, but I didn't get the chance to. So I'm probably gonna do it like right after this. Be like, oh wait, what happened?
What about you, Milo?
Yeah, I actually the second job I leveled in the game was Dragoon, and yeah, so all those quests, to be honest, happened a long time ago for me. So yeah, I'm just sort of more focused on like what's happening going forward, but it is true that probably should take a look back in order to understand where we are going forward. But yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest, about him.
Well, real quick, for those who don't know, Estinian is somebody you thought was dead in the Dragoon quest line. Tried to take over the power of the Eye of Nidhogg, which he mentions here, and it ends up turning on him in the Dragoon quest. So everyone saw him and thought, aren't you supposed to be dead? So do we think that this is just, forget the Dragoon storyline. Estinian, this isn't post-Dragoon storyline, this isn't anything. It's just his own instance of existence? Or do you think, Slyh, you seem to be excited about Estinian because you brought him up right away before I forgot to him. Do you think that this is a continuation, like it was supposed to be this grand reveal, hey, he's not dead?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a continuation of it, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what happened between Estinian and Nidhogg. I mean, like, we don't really know specifically what happened between those two, but we just know that he somehow is affected by Nidhogg's High, and it's being held somewhere secret deep in Ishgard, guarded by top people, according to Almeric. Like, they mentioned Nidhogg, that he kind of tried to get into Ishgard 20 years ago, but do we know if it was Nidhogg himself, or is he doing it the same way like he's doing it now, or he's just sending lesser dragons to do his work for him? And Estinian kind of had a beef. He's like, why are you not here? Why are you sending lesser dragons to do your own work? Do you like, smell of your your lair. I mean, he has a beef. He really has a beef with Nidhogg, and
It's coming for you, Nidhogg.
and I'm looking forward to finding out more about his beef specifically.
Yeah, he just jumps up. He's just like, oh, well, you know, dragoons, we can jump up. He can fly, apparently, because he never comes back
Oh my
down.
gosh, it's totally what I said when I saw it.
No, not the song. Not the
Come on,
song.
please.
No.
No.
Pook, I know.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Into like a dragoon flying song.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at
background-
that.
Yeah, there's background on that. Rahhzay made a song about dragoons,
Oh,
how we can fly to heaven.
It literally didn't look like a jump. He just looked like he took off into flight, and I was like, I believe. Okay, I'm not gonna do it.
I'm not going to do it, huh?
I must go. My people need me.
Right? Exactly.
That's all he did.
I mean, it made me laugh, and I had the giggles for like 20 minutes after that.
Oh, you guys have so many, like, ridiculous. I'm already glad that we have this show going because I'm freaking dragoon. So I don't want to add it. If you're gonna have to go to Roz on her own time if you want to hear that song, because
It'll be a highlight. It's all good.
there we go. All right, yeah, and you also brought up. I mean, we thought Vishat might be important. Apparently, he's just whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we needed a dragon. This guy. I think they kind of wanted to show, hey, this is a big dragon, but he's the small dragon of his friends, you know. And then Nidhogg didn't show up himself. They're really almost setting up Nidhogg to be the penultimate villain of Heavensward with the way that this sort of evolved, because they've mentioned other dragons, but like right now they left us on a cliffhanger with him specifically. I think 3.0 specifically is going to see us taking on Nidhogg, and then the rest will probably see us taking on the 7 dragons. What about you, Pook? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I honestly think that he's going to be like they're setting him up as he's the one that did the dragon song. At least that's the impression I got. I don't know if it was ever explicitly stated. And he's the one leading these assaults against Ishgard right now. Like, well, he's directing them. He's not there. And I really do think that they're throwing his name at us a lot, and they threw Estinian at us to basically make that the main story. That's what they want our focus on right now. And it's a good follow-up to Bahamut, really. Like,
And dragons. When you leave one dragon alone, just go to the next dragon. That's all you got to do. And Sly and I have spoken about this before. Yeah, Bahamut apparently we're supposed to get more side story quests about him in Heavensward. I don't really know how that factors into everything. I don't know if you guys have something to think about that.
I'm more focused on the new stuff, to be honest.
So you just want to get right into Ul'dah? Just forget this. No more Ishgard. Who cares about Ishgard? We got.
He's like, I don't care.
We got way more important things to talk about. All right,
Like
I don't blame you.
dragons.
But yes, they're Dargans.
Dargons.
Gotta
Oh,
love
I
the
thought you meant
Dargans.
about Bahamut. I mean about Bahamut. Like, I'm over Bahamut. I want to see where they're going with Nidhogg and everything else like that.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I'm kind of feeling the same way. It's like, yeah, we get it. Bahamut.
Yeah.
Shinryu.
I had enough of him.
I heard someone say, Sly, was that you saying Shinryu?
Yeah, give me Shinryu.
Shinryu. Got it. And we got Omega coming. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the big thing everyone wants to talk about are the final set of cutscenes in patch 2.55. And I'm not wearing glasses right now because I think I'd have to take them off a million times while we're talking about this, just out of sheer, That's an emotion.
The cutscene.
The
Cutscene.
cutscene. These
Yeah.
cutscenes were unbelievable. It's literally, if you haven't done it and you're watching this, first of all, I don't know why. Second of all, if you do watch the cutscenes, put some time aside. Last week we discussed it takes about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how quickly you read, in order to get through all the stuff we're about to talk about. So
Get some popcorn. Get some ice cream.
at
get
the same
snacks.
time.
And a handkerchief. You're going to need it. You're going to need it.
Yeah, but not for Sly's face's reason, because that would be a completely different use for the handkerchief if you go back to the Kriegasm thing. You don't want that.
No.
notify your next of kin that if you don't come
Goosebumps.
back in 2 hours, that
Just wait longer.
just wait longer. Still
Throw him the old Ace Ventura.
had to rewatch it in Japanese.
There you go. Okay, so right off the bat, I have to make this the first topic. So they all get together in Ishgard. They're all celebrating the victory, and Ishgard's talking about how they're going to maybe try and open up the gates a little bit more and maybe start eventually rejoining the Eorzean Alliance. Whatever. That's a very broad way of looking at it, but it all kicks off with one event. An event that I have to say I have been calling it for like 6 to 7 months now. Nanamo's assassination. Everyone was like, they can't kill Nanamo. She's so cute and she's Lalafell and you can't do it. Raubon will be so sad. Raubon will be so sad.
But the tears in her eyes.
I know.
No.
Am I like the only one that didn't cry at all?
I mean,
I was like, I feel like I should be crying right now, but I mean, I'm sad, but I kind of knew this was gonna happen. It was very like Joffrey from Game of Thrones kind of feeling. Except that you wanted Nanamo to live. That's the only difference. Is Joffrey you hated, but you're just like the goblet, and I don't know, like everyone trying to what's it called? Like frame like somebody else, and what happened to Innocent?
It was so confusing because out of nowhere, everything just like fell apart as soon as that happened. Because that gets pinned on the player, and all of a sudden you're like, so before the fall is literally like just before that goblet hits the ground. You realize in that moment, the fall, it represents the fall of the goblet. And how everything was 100% different before that moment.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened...
How did they know to like come in like at that very moment, by the way?
Because he was planning it, come on.
It was planned.
Yeah, it was...
Like,
secret cameras.
Elaborate. It was so elaborate. But let me speak on one thing before that. Can we speak on the whole Maelstrom and the Mortal Flames and Twin Adder not giving any help to the Steps of Faith whatsoever, and then taking credit. I'm like, wait a minute. What you're not gonna do is take credit for the shit I had to go through. None of y'all did not. None of y'all did a damn thing.
Let's be honest here. Nobody did anything except us, and even the Scions are taking credit for it. Scions are like, yeah.
But it's the Scions plan. It's the Scions
They didn't.
plan.
I don't care. I could have done that plan.
I don't know about you guys, but I one-shot...
Roz, don't even talk to me right now.
I one-shot
really?
Bishop.
Really?
Thanks, Sly and Moogle Minions, for carrying Rahhzay.
All right.
Oh, this is gonna take you forever.
I had to get that off my chest because that kind of pissed me off in that cutscene. Like, really, y'all are taking credit for the shit we did? Yeah. I had to get
Is
that off my
that really anything new though, Sly? Like, they take credit for everything we do. Like, hey, can you go do this? And oh well, it's so great. The Scions of the Seventh Dawn did blah blah blah.
But no matter how stuck up Alphinaud was during that, at least he had a point.
Can you really call him stuck up? Can you really call him stuck up?
Dude, I hate that.
Have you heard his English voice?
I hate that snotty little bastard. I was kind of hoping that he'd die, but
Harsh.
I like Alphinaud.
But no, like he had a point in that moment where he's like, "Oh, look at them over there talking like they fought in this and they didn't do anything." He's just like, "Whatever, okay."
For once, you're on his side.
Yeah,
okay.
For once.
So, okay, next, after she dies, whatever, we get blamed for it all. Ishgard comes as, "Hey, the dragons came back. It's an attack while you're away. We need you to leave." Immediately after, Telegiata does the very, very wrong thing of pissing everyone off.
Yeah.
He's been doing that for a lot of patches now. But he pissed everyone off to the point where he's talking about the assassination. He's blaming the player. And then he starts telling the Raubon, like, "Oh, yeah, I wanted her dead. But I didn't kill her. You know, that's not how it works." And then he's just mocking her. And then Raubon's rage came out.
He goes ham.
Milo, I think this is where you were making that face before.
Yeah, so yeah, this part was a highlight for me. What I liked about the Nanamo and subsequent Raubon circumstance is that, to me, Raubon and Nanamo were a character. They weren't separate entities based on everything that has unfolded before. For me, they were one character. The one was the reference point for the other at all times. So after Nanamo was killed, you had the sense that, you know, they even gave some sort of subtle, like the moment she died, Raubon sort of like raises an eyebrow and like looks, you know, takes a long look to the runner on third so to speak. He felt it because their sort of connection is that strong. And yeah, that was one of the more, I guess, in the sense of the cutscene itself, sort of manipulating the audience's emotions. You needed that. After the Nanamo assassination, you needed that to happen. And with all the backstory of Nanamo's despair about how the government of Ul'dah was being run, there's actually a cutscene from the past in which she's like sort of on the balcony, kind of lamenting what's going on with the syndicate and her government, and she starts crying and like jumps into Raban's arms. You sort of remember back to that, and yeah, in that case, I mean, when Raban just goes Super Saiyan, it was just it was very powerful, I thought.
He skipped Super Saiyan 1. He went straight to 3.
Oh, he went beast mode. It was awesome.
It was unbelievable just to see him, because this up until this point, Final Fantasy XIV's had a pretty predictable story. The 2.0 story literally started off with, "Hey, we're the Warriors of Light, and the crystals are gonna save us, and the bad guy wants to stop us," and then it kind of just kept leaving us with more and more cliffhangers leading up, and nobody thought something like this would happen, where Raban goes nuts, kills who we think is Telegiata Legi. Some people have suggested that might have been a fake, and that it's actually not him. The betrayal of the Crystal Braves, which we spent an entire 3 patches with. The betrayal of Raban's friend, who was unbelievable, that I couldn't believe how much of an asshole he could be. And it all unfolds. It just goes on a murderous rage, and probably one of the best choreographed cutscenes they've had since this all happened with the betrayal.
I also really like the lighting in these cutscenes. I don't want to like derail, but there was some lighting in these cutscenes that it was like, oh, okay, they're actually making use of that stuff now. But that was a really powerful moment for me, because I think like throughout the other patches, it was yeah, there's trouble, but by the end of the patch, you've saved the day and everybody's happy again, and here's a lollipop because you ran a few errands for the Scions, and then this one is just like, no, we're killing people. We're killing people.
Yeah. Just death.
It's the question that came up on my stream, the question that keeps coming up is like, where were these writers all along? Because if the writing was always like this, imagine how hype we would be. If the writing in Heavensward is anything like this, imagine how hype everybody would be. Because it was just a complete and total turnaround from what we've done to this point, at least in my opinion.
Oh, it was...
Makes you go, I'm never skipping cutscenes again.
Yeah, it's like, I don't, and especially not the little ones where you can't go back and watch them again because it's just a little bit of text.
I know.
I hate those ones so much.
It's like, oh, but something happened. I want to know what happened again.
It makes me wish I was keeping a notebook.
Right?
Luckily, we have something called the journal, but it's only so much. It's only so much. So, yeah. Brass Blades and the Crystal Braves both betray the Scions. They betray the Immortal Flames. They betray everybody. Because they think they've been, well, the Brass Blades almost, it feels like, have been convinced that they're doing the right thing, whereas the Crystal Braves, you don't really know what they think, because when they start their betrayal, they say, we're trying to save the realm. And you don't really know what that means, because that's what they were supposed to be doing, and if this is what their belief is, then who's telling them otherwise? I don't necessarily know if it's Telegiata Legi. I don't know if his power runs that deep, but...
His pockets do.
Oh, his pockets run very, very deep. Him and all the monitorists, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Ilberd, I don't know what to say about that guy. And before anyone says it, no, he's not a red mage. Just because he has End Fire doesn't mean he's automatically a red mage. But that guy, I want to fight him as a boss. I don't know about you guys.
He's so
I think
jaded.
we all do. I think we all do.
He's so dark.
And I want to know, what I really want to know is how far back does this betrayal go? Like, how far back? I mean, I kind of had the sense, ever since I met Ilberd, that something was a little bit off. And it wasn't even him. It was the other character who was murdered, who I thought was there was something off with him, but he ended up getting murdered. So obviously it wasn't him. It was Ilberd. But yeah, I want to know how far back this goes. How long he's
Well,
been...
he mentioned when he was talking to Robon, he mentioned like back when they like fought side by side or whatever. He's like, you become soft since you've become part of the Sultanate, and
But that's just sheer jealousy, if anything.
yeah, right.
But that might have fueled
there's
it.
got to be something in that he's either become jaded about or jealous about. I want to know where the betrayal stemmed from. Like, where did he align with somebody, and at what point was he like, all right, I'm out for blood?
Well, and then on top of him, we have the Monitorists, where they really only put emphasis on 2 of them. One of which we're supposed to believe is dead. The other one who is saved by Ilberd when he chops off Raubon's left arm, which somebody in the chat pointed out that was the arm that he used to hold Nanamo on, apparently. Never noticed something like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. That was a nice little poetic
symbolism.
Touch.
Yeah, poetic
symbolism.
What makes it worse is the achievement.
The achievement.
God.
The achievement is horrible. That was way too soon.
Too soon, It's too soon.
I
in my chat the other day, or like it was literally yesterday, and everyone just yelled too soon at me. I was like, I'm sorry, there's an achievement.
I honestly think, between Teleji, Adeleji, and Lolorito, that Teleji was supposed to die. I think he actually died. I think Lolorito didn't even care if Teleji was like the public face of all this betrayal. He was just a pawn to get whatever Lolorito wanted done. But then, is there somebody pulling Lolorito's strings? One thing I wanted to come back to was Emmerich leaving the banquet.
Yeah.
When the Ishgardian Knight showed up and said there was another attack, and it was like how fortuitous that this attack is happening when we're not there. Someone is informing the dragons that they were not there.
Yeah.
I even read that as that could have been a fraudulent claim to begin with.
Just to get him out.
When you getting ahead of ourselves, but when you go to Camp Dragonhead and you talk to Harshfon or whatever, however you say his name, he actually mentions there was an attack because when Teleji walked in all smug and was like, "Hey, you got to go. Dragons are attacking your town." I really thought they were just gonna walk out of the room and then those guys were gonna try to kill him. I thought it was gonna be another assassination attempt, and it turned out an actual legit dragons are attacking. So it makes me wonder what's going on there.
Yeah, I'm glad that they put that in there later, so you knew that there was something that legit happened, and they're not dead. Please don't kill my Sir Emmerich. He's so handsome.
Sir Emmerich of the Temple Knights. That's cool.
Handsome though.
We better get his armor. I want his armor. His armor's cool. That should have been the new Paladin AF. Anyway, so after this whole event blows up, Raubon's fighting Ilberd. Everything's going nuts. The other 2 grand companies, they're just out. They're like, we can't get involved. This is a matter of we can't get involved, or this is like declaring war.
Another reason why I'm pissed. Like, the grand companies are supposedly supposed to be so tight, yet they dip when Raubon's getting attacked by Ilberd. They're not going to step in. I mean,
the Admiral wanted to. Yeah, she actually did this whole grunt of being pissed off when the Maelstrom guy was like, "We gotta go." She wanted to jump in. You could see it on her face.
Yeah.
But with everything falling apart like that, would have immediately put Ul'dah at war with either of them if they had done it, because that's an immediate grounds upon. Although I don't even know how an Norwegian alliance can exist at this point, at all. I don't think it can exist.
No, I don't think it can either. With Raubon being locked up. Afterwards, we're moving way too forward. But with Raubon being locked up, I mean, what does this do for the Eorzean alliance? You only have 2 leaders, and you only have Merlub and Kane Senna, so it's not really an alliance. It's just 2 grand companies out of the 3.
Yeah, it's a couple. That's all it is at this point. So after that whole thing blows up, Scions and the player, they're all trying to escape. And this is where they really start to make you think, no, they're not going to do this. They can't be doing this. This all can't be real. They start making you believe that the Scions are dying. 2 by 2, technically.
Mm-hmm.
They separate them off. They show them in a dire situation, you know, on the brink of being killed, and then they unleash some sort of ultimate attack, and they're supposed to give you the impression that they died going out with that attack, and they're happy that they're dying for, you know, what they know is the right cause. But I gotta ask the first question. Alive, dead, captured, what? Not including Minfilia. We'll talk about her later.
I say alive. I vote alive.
One for alive.
You think
I
all of them are
agree.
alive?
I agree.
Two
I
for
think-
alive.
I think, really, who's going to get killed by their own LB? Who's going to get killed by their own LB?
LB.
What the hell? Like, how can you die from
Have
your
you
own
never
LB?
died from
You played-
animation lock?
You play Dragoon. How could you ask that question?
Wow.
Really? You're going to bring
But the
that
limit
up?
break itself doesn't kill the Dragoon. It's just not
That-
dodging.
It's that family that always goes off at the same time you channel it for some reason.
Here we go.
For some reason. All right. We got two alive.
I don't think everyone's making it out alive. I think someone's dying. I don't know. It would be really cheap for them to tease all of those deaths, and then everybody's like, oh, everybody's magically okay. At least for me. But I don't know. I don't think Ida and Papalimo are dead. I'm worried about Thancred and Y'shtola.
Yeah. And Milo, you're the last vote before I say mine.
Yeah, so I actually agree with Pook here. It's much more plausible that Thancred and Y'shtola would die because of the circumstance of the close quarters and the nature of the spirit bomb-esque maneuver. And then, yeah, I mean, if you're just going off of context clues, you could argue that Ida and Papalimo have a better chance of surviving, but I honestly think that ambiguity is a really strong tool in storytelling, because really at the end of the day, it's not explicitly stated or known now whether they are dead or alive, and I like that a lot because you're dealing with very, very, very crucial characters to the entirety of the storyline thus far, and explicitly killing or allowing them to survive, I sort of think makes the anticipation of Heaven's Word less intense. So yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one, I would like to believe they're still alive, but ultimately it's ambiguous, and I like that a lot.
And I'm going to be the tiebreaker. I think they're dead. I think they're dead, but I don't think that necessarily means that's the last time we see them.
A good point.
I don't know. I
They're
mean,
going to come back from the Aether or something?
No, well, and Moonbreeda. I'm expecting to see a more Moonbreeda and the rest of the Scions as well at some point. Even though they're supposed to be dead. And that's the thing. They killed off Moonbreeda last patch. She hadn't even been around for more than a patch, and they killed
you know,
her.
right?
So I think they're
the short stay.
dead.
All the mourning, though, like
Yeah.
the first part of it was all just like mourning. But I actually think that Y'shtola and Thancred live because I don't know, because she's like, well, we'll be entombed in here, well, yes, for all eternity. But also, like, Minfilia, she, like, had, like, that message from Hydaelyn. I'm like, she was a minor. Maybe she's, like, pro at moving rocks and, like, saves them from being
Yeah.
entombed. Like,
What if?
look, Minfilia's going to be useful.
What if? I thought about this about an hour ago before the show. What if the Ascians caught their ether before it got to the realm where, you know how they are in the realm between? What if they caught it on the way?
Ooh.
I didn't think about that. Well, I did, but only for one of them, obviously Moonbreeda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good possibility.
That's what's beautiful about it. You don't know. You can't say that Mr. Happy's claim is right or wrong. But that's interesting.
Ambiguity at its finest.
This will be another Nanamo assassination. I'll be waiting to say I told you so.
Oh God.
Broomfilia will just come
My
through
heart.
and sweep up all the rubble and pick up the bodies. And
Wow.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Okay, so we spoke specifically about all the actual Scions, but Minfilia just doesn't do anything. So we want to talk about her separately, because whereas they made an effort to sort of show their last moments for the other Scions. I mean, Philia just kind of goes like, you go on without me, and then that's it. You don't hear, you don't see anything happen to her, that's it.
Why the hell is Hydaelyn talking to her now?
It's like, all right.
We don't have it anymore.
It's just fun. I just imagine that Hydaelyn's like, all right, you won't shut up. You never do anything. Fine. All right, I'm here. What do you need?
Here, go move some rocks.
What can Minfilia do?
I mean, like, there's got to be a reason. Like, she went back in the other direction, and I that's why I think that she went back to help the others. I know I'm not the only one that thinks this. Like, she had to have. What else would she have done? I don't know. I guess we will have to wait till Heavensward to find out.
Yeah, I think that's a big part, is that she didn't die, and like you said, she went back. That's the only saving grace I have in the fact they may not be dead. It's just, I feel where it's like, yeah, doing all that setup and then, hey, we're all alive, everything's fine. It would have been, it's just...
Somebody has to die.
If that is the case, I hope we don't find out in 3.0. I hope that's, like, down the line for something.
Yeah, that would be good.
But throughout all this fighting, what everyone kind of looked at as like, are these new abilities being shown off? Because there was a lot of things we'd not seen before, or larger and grander ways of doing it. Some people were shouting that that Papalamo had used Embrava when he helped empower Ida.
He charged her limit break bar.
That's literally what Embrava does.
Yeah, like that's exactly what he did.
She used a much stronger version of Limit Break. I don't think any of us think much about that because it was Final Heaven. It's just AoE.
Yeah.
But then you have Dankred's battle. You have Ishtola's powered up attack. I mean, the Scions are a bit of a different case when it comes to their abilities. But any sort of potential teasers towards new abilities?
I feel
I
like
don't think so.
Ishtola's was maybe like super duper powerful, holy type thing. Like maybe it was like the reason why I don't think that they're dead maybe is like because she brought down the roof, right? So it's like a destructive force, but also like protecting her and her party.
The stun. The AoE stun. That's what Holy
Yeah.
does. That's exactly it.
But yeah.
We don't know. That's why it's
That's why it's all just speculation.
It's all speculation.
Right.
All right. So after that point, we escape. And this was honestly, out of all the things that weren't like super serious that shocked me, this was probably the funniest thing to come full circle in the whole game that it could have possibly been.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're out there, you're like, where do we go? What do we do? And the merchant from the opening cutscene comes out and he's like, hey, I heard you needed help.
Yes! That was fantastic. I loved it.
How convenient.
There's three
Like-
different ones, right? They're brothers. They're the Brennan. They're like,
Yeah.
they're brothers. Yeah, because
They
I
all
have.
have similar names. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on which city-state you started and changes which one appears for you in that cutscene.
Correct.
Yeah.
And voice acting.
Voice acting, yeah. I mean, I was so disappointing
for
when they
the
were
guy on the
switching to
cart.
voice acting. He
Like
didn't have voice acting at the start, did he?
no.
No.
That's why I'm like
No.
they actually went and got voice acting for this character. This character's gonna matter more. Like that's like they seem really hesitant to put a lot of voice acting in, or they're like, oh, it's expensive and it takes time. If they're gonna give a character voice acting, you're gonna see him again. They like obviously you're gonna see a lot of Midgard Sorcerer. That's why he had voice acting before his fight. Like, if they that's my way of knowing the character's gonna stick around a little bit. Then again, Moon Brita had voice acting. So
Well, I mean, Moonbrita
Well-
also kind of had like a big role in one thing at least.
Yeah.
And then if you follow Mike's theory that she might return, then
I won't accept it. The only Rogan of the group. Oh, so sad. All right. So another NPC that pops up in that cutscene is Pippin Tarpin.
Big
these
pimpin'.
Arus.
Big Pippin.
That guy was the
Big
best.
Pippin.
He's not
His
a
voice,
hobbit.
though, and that hair.
Pippin is the only Lalafell I trust.
I
The
watched
only-
it first
Agreed.
in English,
Agreed.
and oh man, that voice. It's
Is it-
awkward. He's a Lalafell, though.
Yeah, but he's like the big things come in small packages kind of guy.
Oh no.
He's like, oh, you look at me, I'm a Lalafell, and all of a sudden I'm like, hello, Miss Lady. And then, so Pippin is like an interesting character. I don't know if you guys knew this, but before that cutscene, he's mentioned back in the 1-year anniversary. It sort of goes into the history of some of the different characters of the game, and he was mentioned there as well. He also reveals here that he is the adopted child of Raoban. What? How does that go 5 patches without oh, my son. I never talked to you about my son before.
That was bizarre. That was very bizarre. You have to imagine it's going to reappear in 3.0, but that kind of caught me off guard.
He planned it all along.
Another blind side.
What about Pippin as a Dark Knight?
That's actually what I was considering. He's carrying around what might be his equivalent of a two-handed sword.
Lalafell Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Lalafell Dark Knight.
I mean,
it's pretty sweet.
He's got cool armor. I mean,
yeah, that's the first thing anybody noticed was the cool armor, and like, you just wanted to know who was behind it, but still, like, the cool armor kind of intrigued me for a bit, and like, this is probably going to be Dark Knight, or a version of Dark Knight armor, not the Dark Knight armor, the level 60 maybe.
What if he is your job trainer?
I'd be fine with that. I would actually be okay with that.
I might actually pick up Dark Knight.
What, just because the Lalafell gives you Dark Knight, all of a sudden now it's a screen?
Part of like the story quests for Dark Knight, like your class quests, job quests, because not classes, but
yeah. Well, we don't want to get too much into semantics.
Yeah.
All right. So before we were talking about the monitorists. After this point, everything's safe. Alphino's whining, whatever, and who is that who groaned?
Me. What y'all are really picking on Alphino. God dang it.
He was just like, my life. It's gonna
too. Thank you, Slyh. High five.
Yes.
I think his reaction was, I think that was well written, like considering his age and the situation he was in and everything he's gone through. I'll agree with that. I just don't like the character. Which is weird because I like Hope from 13.
Kind of fit because he was always the one that was building other people up, right? Like he was like getting people to do, what he felt was right, and most of the times everything made sense. But when things, Kupo hit the fan, he of course is going to kind of take it a little personally. He's going to be, really upset by that, and you kind of like, you would expect him to have that kind of reaction when he is the one kind of behind some of the decisions that happen with the Scions. And so I thought his reaction was pretty much expected, and it didn't bother me any.
Agreed.
I kind of felt bad for him. I was like, he needs a pep talk. Where'd he go? Someone else's turn to build up Alphino.
I ain't building him up. I'll tear him down, though. Especially after his sister that he thought was, like, helpless saved him. He's like, yeah, he's in trouble. He'll thank me later. Don't worry. We already did Final Coil together, but don't worry. He'll thank me later. Oh. Speaking of which, just real quick on the side, I mean, she's got to be part of Alexander, right?
Yes.
She's got to be, like,
yes,
the whole reason we go after Alexander.
Elise is going to be always the raid quest NPC, because I don't think they're ever going to merge the stories. Like, they'll always run it as a side story kind of thing, because you can't have the main scenario based on somebody's raid progression.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm like, I really need to go back and see what happened with Alice. I'm like, oh, turn 9.
Oh. All right, so moving on. We spoke a little bit about this before, but we have Lolorito and the Monitorists. I mean, that was where I was going. After Alphino, he's like, wah, 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 everything fell apart, whatever. And they just all of a sudden, Lord Lolorito becomes the center of everything, whereas it was Teleji Adeleji for so long. Lolorito, all of a sudden, it's like, Nanamo's assistant, was working for him, he's the bad guy. But is he really the center of it all? Like, is that him? Is that Teleji Adeleji who was dressed as Lolorito? Is Lolorito actually dead? Like, all these things that are possible with him, but just that dark hallway, it's like, it's done. And that's it. I hate that. What's done? I want to know what's done.
In all actuality, and with the Syndicate and the Monetarist, I thought Lolorito was the lesser of two evils between him and Teleji. Like Lolorito was kind of the good one, I thought, up until this point. And then like I'm throwing out the theory that it's Teleji dressed up as Lolorito. I'm throwing that theory out the water. It's Lolorito, but it seems that he has a bigger part in this. Now, is there a puppet master pulling the strings? I think so. There obviously is. Like the Syndicate can't do this alone. They have pockets big enough, but like in terms of sheer willpower and controlling people, there has to be somebody pulling the strings.
It's Godbert.
Yo.
He's part of the Syndicate. He's not a monetarist, but he's part of the Syndicate.
He is.
That's true. That is true.
It begs the question, like how many people were involved in like these plans, but also like just how long have they been planning these kinds of things? You know what I mean? Just like when it first happened, I was like, is Lolorito kind of like, was he in on it all along, or was it kind of like one of those things where it's just like opportunity? Let me get it on, the everything that's going down. Lucky for you, Ilbert saved your life, you little Kupo.
Yeah, and that's another thing. As soon as they went for Lolorito, they all launched to defend him. Whereas when Teleji Adeleji, they were just like, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. We're not going to do anything to you. But as soon as they go
we
for
can just
Lolorito,
assume that Teleji made more people mad than just us.
it's like, all right, listen, I'm on your side, but you're pissing me off right now.
Yeah, Teleji was full on pawn. He was full on pawn.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was Teleji's money that was influencing the Crystal Braves. I think the names of the sources was too obvious. It was somebody basically putting Teleji's name right out there in the open, so they'd have a target.
Yeah.
So he was a scapegoat, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good theory.
That's an idea.
Okay,
He was
so
just a bonehead. I think he was just a bonehead who got carried away, but yeah, we don't really know.
okay, fair enough. Okay, but regardless, Teleji Adeleji's plan, or if that even was his plan, has to come to fruition at this point. Now that there's all these issues, they have much more control over the nation. Omega weapons gotta be a real thing at this point.
But is it really a Syndicate thing?
No, it's a, hey, we needed to get this thing, we needed to get all these people off the playing field, now we can go get Omega weapon kind of thing. Omega's got to play. I mean, they've said Omega's going to play some sort of role. But at this point, it's got to be Lolorito. It's got to be. I mean, I'm sure the Asians are behind it all the way because they were behind Ultima Weapon too, but...
Right. But then again, like, Ultima was a Garlean thing. Like...
So, Lolorito. What if he's a Garlean?
Could be.
I wouldn't... That's the last thought I would have about Lolorito. I don't think he's a Garlean. Like, I mean, I know Lalafels can be Garleans, but in terms of Lolorito, I just don't think he's a Garlean.
There's so many directions we could go with this.
And speaking of the Asians, I mean, we know, like, the Asians' involvement goes, like, way back, because at the end of the... what was it? It was the 2.4. We saw the Asian right next to the Archbishop of Ishgard. So we know this goes back. So we know, like, there's some involvement in Ishgard, too. There's a lot of things going on in Ishgard behind the scenes as well. So that Almeric probably doesn't even know of it. He might know of it. I'm not sure. But we know Asians are involved there. But long story short, the Asians do have a hand in this. They've had a hand in it for quite some time. We just don't know how deep it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have anything to add? Because we're going to get into the next... The next point's not so big, but the point after that was the ultimate no.
I actually want to backtrack on one thing.
Okay.
So we were talking about the sort of tinfoil hat Pippin Dark Knight scenario with the armor, and really, really quickly and discreetly in chat, Landar486 mentioned that the armor which Pippin is wearing is 100% the Allied Seal armor for the Immortal Flames. I'm looking at screenshots of it right now. I just wanted to put that out there to sort of back up his claim, because I think no one really noticed it, but yeah.
Yeah, because nobody buys that. Everyone just spends it all on friggin' sands and everything else.
I just wanted to mention that really
What
quickly
about
before we
Minion?
moved on, because I thought that was a pretty cool point by him.
All right, thanks for bringing that back. Okay, so all of this leads into seeing Yugiri's face, which I don't know why everyone was so surprised. See it? Oh my God, she's so. Well, they were surprised, but I mean, us as players, it's like, okay.
Hmm.
I knew what they were supposed to look like. Thank you, everything beforehand. I don't even know why this was a big reveal at this point.
But she was so pretty.
Listen,
She was.
Tataru.
She is pretty. Oh man, she was
That's the
fine.
whole
I want
point.
that
It's supposed to be mysterious and eloquent. That's supposed to be their thing. They're supposed to be beautiful dragon ladies.
Beautiful dragon ladies with clipping hair.
Yes, with clipping hair. Most specific aspect.
I don't think that, like, I think they were just in a rush to get that in. Like, I don't think there's going to be any clipping with the expansion. Like, they're going to take care of that
I'd
quickly.
hope.
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope not, because that's...
That would be
Very
very
unfortunate.
disappointing. Yeah,
Well,
because
especially
it's really...
especially since that hair is like, obviously not one that we've seen before. So you would think that they're gonna take extra care to like make sure that it looks good with the horns. Like, come on.
And chat's asking how we can mention Yugiri's face without mentioning Ida's eye that we finally saw. Which was interesting. It was like, oh, that's... But my reaction was like, oh, that's what she looks like.
Yeah, same.
He's pretty
Yeah.
too.
I thought that was
Was.
cool because of just
Was.
how long her face has been masked, like since 1.0. And they waited that long. I thought that was pretty powerful. I thought it was tasteful and yeah, sort of discreet, but ooh, Ida, ooh.
Milo, what did we say at the beginning of the show?
I'm
That's
sorry.
not what the handkerchief is for.
Dude, this patch made me a big Ida fan. Like, this is I really like Ida after this patch.
I'm
Ida
right
for
there with
Dissidia.
you.
She
I already
was.
liked Ida to begin with. I thought she was already awesome.
I thought she was awesome, but now I'm just like, yeah, Ida all the way.
Well, according to my voiceover skills, she's also a Valley girl. So.
Well, if Rowena would just stop making fun of her mask.
Rowena's such a bully. All right. So after all is said and done, we end up at Camp Dragonhead, which is like our new headquarters. But the like 4 of us that remain. Tataru's trying to become an arcanist for whatever reason, or tried, and then I've never seen somebody's carbuncle just be like,
Run away.
nah.
Peace out.
Right?
We got her, we got Yugiri, we've got Alphino, whatever he actually decides to do something, and yourself, and then of course if you want to include the Ishgardians, like Hoshfont, whatever his name is. But at this point it's like, well, we can't go to the city-states. Why don't we go to Ishgard? Like, that's, after all of this crazy stuff happens, that is what eventually gets us into Ishgard. It's like, but they never said we're welcome there. Like, they just suggested, like, why don't we go to Ishgard? It's just
Hey,
happened.
didn't Almeric say he's going to throw open the doors to Ishgard?
He didn't say literally throw it open. He was more along the lines of, like, we're trying to rejoin the Orzian Alliance. Like, if this event culminates well enough, this may actually lead to the Orzian Alliance coming back. But he didn't literally say, yeah, come on in. Come on. All right, you come here.
He's gonna have to sneak you in disguised as an Elysian.
Yeah, and then there's going to be thousands of us in there disguised because all the adventurers are going to be hanging out.
It's gonna be like that
Volunteers.
period during World of Warcraft whenever you took the Draenei back to like one of the back in time instances, and the entire expansion of Ishgard is going to be us as Elysians.
Wow. Makes
Surprise!
sense.
You're not allowed to be an Aura.
Oh. Okay.
Can I just like bring up one thing though? I don't know how many of you guys actually noticed, but like, what was with Tataru with all of her like little sly, sneaky faces? Like, I was very suspicious of Tataru like this entire.
I'm tired of having to be suspicious of everybody. They're
But
all
seriously
wrong.
though, like it would cut back and she just like have this like little smirk, and I'm just like, why? What did you do?
She didn't do anything. She's just happy that she's trying to do stuff on her own.
I don't know.
She's gonna be trouble one day. She's
She
an
will
Ascian.
be.
Every
She
time
will
somebody
be.
makes one shifty face, Ascian.
Right? right?
You're-
Okay, what about Hildebrand?
Although I did feel bad for her at the end when she was like crying and was like, "All my friends," but I was still like, "There's something not right about you, Tataru. I want to like you. I used to like you, but this patch."
I still can't make up my mind between whether that was a shifty eyes at that face, that smile she gave us at the end of her little cutscene, or if that was one of those I'm smiling back at the camera because I'm about to die smiles that they do in anime. Like, I couldn't tell if it was either one of those. But they made a really good point of pointing out that she's good with numbers.
Yeah.
This patch. They brought that to the forefront. It's like, oh yeah, she's good with numbers, and we're having
The
trouble
accountant
with
for the.
yeah.
So,
Why does everyone have to be evil?
Sorry for all these that actually liked Tataru.
Oh, man. And then, as you're standing outside the gate of Ishgard, it's like you're about to walk in. Midgard Sommer. It's like, hey, yeah. They don't like you, and you don't like them. So this is going to be a field day for you, Midgard Sommer, because you get to go in there. This is probably not a good idea. This, in no universe, can bringing Midgard Sommer into Ishgard be a good idea.
I mean, but Midgard Stormer has remained hidden in the times he's needed to. Like,
I don't even think he's really there. Like, I think only we see him. Like,
Yeah. It's like,
Right?
it's like that.
I mean, there was like a legit cutscene where you're just like, "Oh, hey, you're talking to me, but I don't see you," and I don't know.
That's part of the Covenant, is that he's always, like, he can see everything you do.
Yeah.
So bringing him into Ishgard, it's like, all right, so their defenses are there. They keep the knights over there. But the thing is, he's made it perfectly clear, as much as he hates Ishgard, he's paired with the adventurer. Like, he is actually trying to, in some way, help them and see past, like, what's perceivable as the truth. He wants you to look deeper than that. The question is if it's for his own good or if it's for the realm's good, because he obviously wants Ishgard to burn. He says it like a bunch of times. But is he going to be an enemy, or is he going to be a mount? That's, I guess, the only question at this point.
I think it's more of like a means to an end type of deal. Like, I foresee somewhere in 3.0 that he's gonna turn heel and come back to life as like normal, like non-glowy head Midgardstormer, like normal Midgardstormer, somewhere along the line in 3.0. I think it's a means to an end, like having him as a part of the adventurer. He, like you said, he can look at everything. He can see what you're doing. He can see the plans of the last remaining Scions. He can see what you're doing. He's kind of that replacement of Hydaelyn. Hydaelyn helped you, but Midgardstormer's helping you, but there's a means to an end. It's beneficial for him too.
I can see it.
We're going to help the Dravanians, is that what you're saying?
In an offhand way, yes. Yes and no. We don't think we're helping the Dravanians, but we actually are. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna, like, I think they've got plenty of reasons to hate Ishgard, even if the war is so very old. And I don't think Midgardstormer himself is a bad guy, but I think that obviously he's made it really clear that he hates Ishgard. It's like the rest of you, okay, fine, I'm doing my job, but we're wiping that shit out. Like, he just tells it like it is. You show up at the door and he's like, you think you're gonna find some kind of like sanctuary here, and he's like, no, they're a bunch of bitches. That's pretty much what he tells you. I think he's doing it to just inform you that you're getting into some trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely tell there's Ascian influence in Ishgard, which we already know as well. Like, everything's tainted. Everything is. It seems the only place that aren't tainted are Limsa and Gridania, and we don't know that for sure yet. At this point, like, Ul'dah and Ishgard absolutely tainted by one force or another. So, Midgardstormer, I think he's got our backs in the end. I think he's gonna be a mount, but I think he's got our backs. I think Mini Midgardstormer is gonna be the mount that we get in 3.0.
Mini Midgardstormer?
Well, he's smaller than he is in the freaking dungeon. Anything smaller than that is Mini.
I was like, oh, I just picture us like riding around on like the little minion.
That's what I was thought.
Yo,
That's what I was
no.
saying.
I was like,
That's what I was
yeah.
thinking.
I mean, I'm a
so like
Lalafell,
1
so-
foot on Midgard Summer, or
Be like the Littlefoot version of Midgard Summer. Okay, so all of that said and done, we've cried our tears, we've made our O faces, like, oh. It all comes down to, hey, a cutscene between the Ascians. You know, we've seen this a million times before. Jay, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here right now.
Ooh.
right?
Not him, too. Not him, too.
That Kupo.
Everyone's against us. They're all so evil.
Someone suggested to me that he's like an inside man at this point. I want to believe it. I want to.
He's torn up over his Bay dying. Like, he is so torn up over that.
Yep.
He does it for Moon.
Yep, he does it for Moon. That's where I'm going.
I mean, he did say when Moon died, he was like, I need to go back to the Waking Sands and mourn my own way. So, bye.
His own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, but it's almost... The thing that makes me think he's not really with them, and that it's more of a recent thing. Like, I agree that it's not necessarily he's a bad guy. He's been kind of always observing what the player does, and, you know, he helped them with, you know, stopping the primals. He wanted to understand them better. But it's a question of, did he want to understand that to really stop the Ascians, or did he want to do it to make sure that the Scions didn't actually make a full-fledged way? Because he doesn't appear when they figure out how to kill the Ascians until after one's already dead. So it's a question of, is he inside from them to us, or is he inside on our side? Because we haven't spoken to him since all the Scions died. So
But wasn't that whole capture or killing off of Nabrialis his part of his plan though? I mean, he actually helped Moon create the plan.
he may, well, Nabrialis, none of the Ascians liked him. If you remember reading those conversations, they go, he was a fool. He was an idiot. So
and Nabrialis hated Rahhzay, and Rahhzay is still around, and now Nabrialis is like gone.
Yep.
Okay, so he shows up there. That's the part that bothers me, because even if he's meeting with Elidibus, who is a diplomat, as we've learned, Rahhzay is there. Is that in the void where they've been meeting the entire time? What is he doing there?
well, here's a weird thing, because we always see them when they're in the void. It's in that room. It's in the chrysalis. Like, that is the room with the Zodiac statue and all the Organization 13 places where they hang out. But whenever at the end of 2.0 and in this instance, it's like they're meeting in an actual building. It almost looks like a prison of sorts.
Well, it looks like the GM jail, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Mordion jail. That's exactly what it looks like. And it makes me think that they're not necessarily meeting in that realm, because that would have to mean Rahhzay can go to that realm, because he just
Right.
shows up. It's just, there's so many things that can
Right,
go wrong here.
If it's in that realm, that means he can travel there. It means there's something really going on here. I saw one theory that I'm kind of siding towards, where people are talking about the fact that, well, they just lost Nabrialis, and they're not supposed to be able to die. And we just lost all these people, and he's meeting with the diplomat. Maybe they're working out some kind of agreement, even if the Ascians really are not going to agree to anything.
Interesting theory in the chat. It could be something related to Amdapor, and the whole cliffhanger we get from Amdapor Keep Hard mode. It does look like the very Amdapor-y floor.
Oh, yeah. We know there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on there.
So Verdiad again?
That was such a weird boss that came out of nowhere. Who
Yeah,
is this guy?
are we gonna see Verdiad again? I mean-
Kefka? Is that you, Kefka? Did you get some surgery?
We do hear Ferdiad laugh afterwards, like
Yeah,
he's
we
not
do.
gone, and Diabolos isn't gone.
Yeah. It's just there's so many things that can go wrong here. One last thing, somebody in the chat mentioned we haven't seen Rahhzay since Ultima. We saw him get revived a few patches ago and make his reappearance at the in the Chrysalis area. he's back, and he is like the Hess truck better than ever, apparently. So, all these things. Here's the thing. I feel like we got closure on some things, but just like every Final Fantasy XIV patch, I have no idea what's going to happen next. I have no idea what's going on. I just want to know more. It's not June yet, guys.
Are we there yet?
It's painful. It's painful.
Oh, damn it. This opening cutscene that we're going to see Saturday, or whatever it is that we're going to be seeing Saturday, the trailer, we better get some answers.
It has to hold us over till June.
Well, we got the benchmark. That'll hold us over for another, we'll do that 6 times.
How many hours am I going to spend making my aura?
Analyze the video frame by frame and see if they
Right.
threw anything in there.
Well, you
Like-
know people are going to do that. They're like, oh, screenshot. Oh, look at this little thing right here in the corner.
That
Look
sword looks
behind-
like it has fire. It's a red mage.
Right?
Behind the bush over there, there's a Lalafell watching us.
Right?
Like
That's
an-
a Lalafell from the Hildebrand quest
Hildebrand
line.
quest.
Minfilia confirmed!
Minfilia's a lie.
Yep.
Minfilia is too useless to
There's
die,
the-
unfortunately.
Right? It's always them who live.
It's always the damn ones. Anyway, all right, so we pretty much covered everything that was super important here. Is there anything we missed that we need to go back over?
I thought that the final sort of cutscene-ish thing that had some voice acting, when you go to Kortha Central Highlands, I thought that was weak in comparison to the cutscene. I got the sense that the sort of bringing back of Alphanod's mood was too quick and too simple, just from a kind of pat on the back from Tataru. That's the only thing I had in mind, and I know it's almost impossible to follow that up, the cutscene. But yeah, that's one thing I sort of had a sort of sour taste in my mouth. I thought the final cutscene was a bit not the very end was hype, but then the sort of leading up to the end with the Asians, I thought was a
All the
little
stuff
weak.
in Karthus.
Yeah, I thought it was weak. Not full voice acting and stuff, but other than that, thought it
It
was
was
great.
just kind of letting you know key details, kind of Sir Emmerich and them, they legit got called away and all that stuff. So I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of killed all of the mood and the train that was kind of going, but
Yeah.
I can totally see what you're saying.
All right. So one last thing I want to bring up. As it brought up in the chat, and I actually forgot to make mention of it. Sid is one of those people that's still around. Sid, Biggs, Wedge, Sid makes his appearance. He's still fine. He wasn't affected by any of this at all. We're done with the Crystal Tower. We know that that's that whole thing is done with him. Is he gonna make Raoban into Barrett?
Yes.
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 Is he gonna give
Yes.
him a gun arm?
Yes.
He's gonna have a gun arm. He's gonna have a gun arm, and it's going to fire Allegan lasers.
Yeah, all that stuff we found in the Crystal Tower, we can make an arm out. We can make an arm for you out of it.
Do it.
I don't think it'll be a gun arm necessarily because we know Raban.
We know how, some sort of bionic type arm.
Bionic arm.
Bionic arm!
Yo,
That is
Spencer.
Spencer.
Looks like
Yo.
Spencer. He kind of looks like Spencer.
Yeah, he could be Spencer, and then we can get highlight clips with friggin' people. Bionic arm.
Yo, I like where you're going with this.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. I miss.
How
Bionic
about
arm.
how about Thancred taking one to the knee?
Why did they have to shoot?
God.
Oh, really?
Oh, that was miserable.
Really?
Yeah.
I went the entire thing without mentioning it, and that was the thing. Everyone was like, too soon.
Oh man, I
It's
did
like,
The memes came out so soon after.
It hit so hard in my chat. Actually, the moment that it hit hard in my
Did it
chat
hit your
was
chat
not,
in the knee?
Yeah, it hit my chat's knee. But no, not that moment. But the moment that Minfilia is like, "This is madness," and I was like, "No, this is Sparta."
I did the same thing. I had my mic muted, and I was just like, "Don't! Why did you have to say those 3 words? Those 3 words aren't allowed to be said in succession ever again." Thancred's like an arrow to the knee. This is mad. Everything. I swear, Koji did that on purpose.
Yeah.
oh, you know it.
No, he did.
You know it.
No, he did.
Koji, if you're watching this, if you ever see this, I need to know if it was on purpose. We all need to know if you were like, I got this. It doesn't say anything like that in Japanese. I gotta ask somebody what it says in Japanese if they say this is madness in Japanese. Anybody else have any last things that we want to talk about real quick?
I don't think we pretty much covered it.
Covered it all.
That's all I got.
It's hard to think that we covered it all, right? Like
Yeah,
after
like, there's
everything
so
that
many-
happened.
There's
So many conspiracy theories. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
it's so fun.
I've gone over it so many times, and I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what's happening. Everything I think I know about it. No.
Nothing.
Everything you know is wrong. Tataru's behind it all.
I hope not.
Nope, it's the Handmaiden. It's the
It is. It's gotta
Handmaiden!
be.
She's
Handmaiden.
Oh,
God.
actually,
I mentioned her
Handmaiden.
before.
Katsu pointed out any comments about the changed NPC dialogue in Ul'dah and the guild masters and the NPCs you run into. Is anything there that you wanted to talk about?
Other than the fact that all the Crystal Braves are pussies. Like, oh, what are you doing here? I should get you, but bye.
that money is not good enough. You've killed Bahamut. I see your title. It's right above your head. I am not messing with you.
Z? Oh yeah, you did that quest. I'm not messing with you, Mr. Z.
Yeah, don't mess with me.
Did anyone talk to Serendipity? Actually, I forgot to do this, but somebody told me that Serendipity has a really interesting dialogue after the fact. Did any of you guys, or maybe anyone in the chat, talk to Serendipity?
Well, it would make sense
based off
that she
that.
would have it because wait, no, Serendipity. I'm thinking because one of the quest lines, I think Culinarian is another. Like we know how Estinian kind of mixed with the story, but you have to wonder about the Culinarian because the Culinarian quest line involves Nanamo quite heavily.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Everyone, if you haven't already, after you finish 2.55, just go talk to NPCs in the world. And just try to find some of them like, I don't believe that you did this, or you're an asshole. Like everybody's different. But some NPCs are still the same. It's mostly Ul'dah and Mordona that are different. Like you can't go into the Rising Stones anymore, things like that. There's so many things. An hour is not long enough to talk about all these things.
Rahhzay actually, she wants to make a mammoth that looks like you and nods periodically to throw off anybody that's on your trail.
So Puppet Master confirmed, right?
Oh, so it was a troll. I see. That's good.
It's Puppet Master confirmed. Can you just let me have this moment because it's totally not confirmed at all, but I want to believe Puppet Master's confirmed.
I respect it.
Cole's question changed. Well, the quest I wasn't expecting to change. It was the dialogue, like, I don't know if you've completed both of them. I don't know, something along those lines. It's like, I can't believe she's dead. I can't believe she's dead. Can you kill the NPCs who think I did it? You can roleplay.
Most of the NPCs in Ul'dah, if you talk to them, when they mention the Sultana, they think she's sick. I think the going story is that she's not dead, is that she's sick.
If that's the truth, I'm going to be very, very upset that they tugged at my heartstrings. Because if she's alive, everyone's alive.
Well, Elbert didn't let you see the body. Elbert didn't let Raban see the body either. He's like, no, you don't need to see that. You've already gone through enough pain. He actually prevented Raban from going to see the body.
And they pull you away.
Mm-hmm.
She's still alive, everyone. She's still alive.
Uh-oh.
She's
Plausible
still
theory.
alive.
It's a plausible theory.
It's plausible.
I like how plausible doesn't. You do not sound comfortable with that theory at all, though.
I don't.
She looked pretty dead, but
I think
mean,
she looked pretty dead.
She looked very dead.
She looked very dead.
Or it could be one of those
It's
drugs
tears though.
that reduce heart rate. I don't know. I don't know about
Yeah,
aortic-
I mean,
She's like a
It's a
ninja. She
thing.
just
It
slowed her heart
exists.
rate.
Yeah, it could be aortian. I don't know aortian medicine. I don't know.
Well,
Yashola's sister. You mean Mitra? Yeah. They're talking about Mitra in chat. Yashtola when she's like dying, if she's dying, apologizes to her.
Dying.
well,
And,
summoners have battle res, so.
Yeah, and Mitra is the summoner trainer in Gridania. Yeah.
Mythbusters destroy plausibles every week. Yeah, let's get them on this. Let's just send an email real quick and
Right.
just find out. All right.
But they
All
would
right.
already tell you that it's plausible. You don't even have to. They just be like, here.
It's plausible. There you go.
Plausible. Period.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else to discuss, if there's no other topics you want to cover, I think it's about time that we call it a night. We've had an amazing show and a lot of exertion. I feel tired almost after the show. Like all my emotions.
Emotionally or physically?
Emotionally.
Okay.
But it's seeping into my physical being because I now have to end the show and be like, this is. I gotta wait 2 months. Gotta wait 2 months for this fucking game.
We're almost there.
Almost there. That's 8 whole weeks, man. That's 9
There
whole
you-
weeks. This is more than 2 months. Okay, Okay, I love this. One last thing. Rate the story. So can we all just say it? 3, 2, 1, 10.
10.
11.
Oh.
We got an overachiever over here.
8.
It was
goes
quite
to
good.
11.
It was quite good.
All right. Well, on that note, we just have one final announcement. Next week's episode of State of the Realm will not be on Tuesday. It will be on Wednesday because I'm going to be on a plane on Tuesday. So I'm going to see my girlfriend in LA. Going to be staying there, so I will also have a different background behind me for the show. Now, we've had 3 great guests this show. Real quick before I do the one final announcement, let's say thank you to our 3 guest hosts, 3 very, very cool dreamers. First up, we got Elise Wells, a.k.a. Rahhzay. Roz, why don't you tell them where you can find you? Tell them where they can find you. Words.
All the things: Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube is different. Instagram, they're all /Rahhzay. YouTube is Rahhzay Gaming. So check me out on Twitch.
There you go. Dreamer number 2. Come on down, Tony Schrieffer.
You guys can find me primarily on twitch.tv/Milo575. The Twitter has an underscore because there's some dude in Germany who has the handle Milo575.
Guy in Germany, how dare you?
We couldn't bribe him, yeah. So yeah, the Twitter is just Milo, or the Twitch is Milo575. The Twitter is Milo_575. Those are the 2 best places you can find me. Also on the DreamNetwork.tv forums, all of us have a sub-forum, and so that's a really excellent way to get more in-depth discussions, I think, with everyone, as well as like on Twitter is a really good way as well. And yeah, come check us out, man. The stream's fun. We would love to have you there.
And I got your name wrong already after an hour.
I
went back and called it Schrieffer again.
I have 24 years of experience with that. So.
It's all right. My last name, Poveramo or Poveromus or
Poveroni.
Poverelmo or so many different names.
Provolone.
Provolone, yes.
Alone.
And the final guest of the stream this week, we have Frank Marshall, a.k.a. Pookajutsu. Tell them where they can find you, my friend.
At twitch.tv/Pookajutsu. Also on Twitter at Pookajutsu. Daily streams. Come check me out.
There we go. Daily, guys.
Daily.
Every day. That means
Every day.
in a 24-hour period, there will be at least one Pook stream.
One Pook.
That's
Ponies ride.
Lots of ponies. Yes.
So those are all of our guest hosts. Next week, we will have a guest host as well. It will be my arch enemy, according to the interwebs, Ms. Tech.
Hi, everyone.
Sly, why do you insist on trying to do that?
I'm so ready for that throwdown between Happy and Ms. Tech that's going to happen.
As if
Right.
as if we're some mortal enemies that
Arch
must.
enemies.
Cage match.
If
The only
anyone
place we're
has
arch
ever-
enemies, it's at Roz's chat. That's where we're
Yes.
arch enemies.
And it's not even that. It's actually Ms. Tech and Milo that are like true enemies in my channel. Like,
The
Oh my
funniest,
God, it's
the
so-
funniest time was when it was you two, but then I joined. You both were 1,000,000, and I did 1. And she lost everything, and you got
Yes.
first, and then I got second. And
Yes! That was a highlight. That was a high point in my life.
she was like, "No, how come everyone beats me?"
Oh, it was so good. It couldn't have
poor
been
Ms.
scripted better.
Tech. I still
that
love you.
Exclamation mark
Ms. Tech,
rigged.
This Tech trolls. She's like a very subtle troll, but she gets them in there. She gets the jabs in. But Ms. Tech's great.
Yeah, and she's gonna be on the show next week, but she's not gonna be the only one on the show because we have the usual hosts for the show that you guys can see every week, and one of them is I'm pointing the wrong way because I forgot that the cameras are things. Slyh over there, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka Slythefox, aka you, my boy Blue. Tell them where they can find you, my friend.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Slyakagreyfox, Twitter at Slythefox, Instagram at Slyakagreyfox07.
And there you go. You streaming anything tonight? Any of you streaming anything tonight? Anybody got a stream going on tonight since we have everybody here at the show?
I'm streaming tonight
You're
at
streaming tonight?
9
Yes.
Pacific time.
That is right after.
Right after?
Yep.
So you got Rahhzay tonight, you got Slyh tonight, Pook, Milo. Either you got anything going on?
Not until tomorrow.
Not until tomorrow, so you know where to find him tomorrow, guys. What about you, Milo?
I think I'm gonna throw it up. I think I gotta go
Don't throw
pee-pee
up.
first. I'll throw it up.
You gonna go ham on Behemoth, Wan?
I am! Are we
Yes!
going together? Are we hitting
Let's do it!
Oh, hold
my,
on. I'll be
my
there.
Ninja's 49. Let's do this.
I'll be there. Yeah.
I have a
We can
level
do that.
1 on Behemoth.
Yeah, let's play some Behemoth.
Wait,
Let's level
who
him.
has? Wait, did I just hear Mike say he has a level 1?
I haven't even left the tutorial area. Apparently, it's a character I've had for a while.
You have one on Behemoth?
Progress.
Apparently, it's level 1. I have a bunch of level 1s across like a bunch of servers. Like,
Well,
I
get
don't
to
remember why.
15 and you can choke up a race with my husband.
Yay! Wait, why only with your husband? Is he the only one who's pedigree 1?
No,
He's
he's pedigree
he-
like 19.
He drugs the chocobos. He's total hack.
In that case, I get some fried chicken and we'll call it a day. Anyway, I am your final host, Michael, Mr. Happy Poverama. You can find me twitch.tv, Mr. Happy 1227, YouTube, Xehanort 1227, because childhood. I miss those days. That was the first YouTube video I made, was Kingdom Hearts 2. And I filmed it with a MacBook camera facing the screen.
Wow.
No way. Wait,
It's not there
What?
anymore. It's
What?
gone.
Whoa, wow.
wait, how?
It's gone.
Come along.
Did you use like mirrors or something? Like how did you?
I just took a MacBook and I faced it towards the TV at an angle where there was
Oh,
no
I
reflection
see.
of light.
I respect that so much.
That's how I recorded all my videos back in
That's
the day.
dedication.
That's
That is
unbelievable.
dedication.
That's the OG. Those are the OG methods. And finally, Twitter and Facebook, Mr. Happy 1227 as well. Everyone, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a great spoiler cast. I know Slyh loves spoiler casts, and everyone wanted to talk about this a lot. It's been great, everybody. Be sure to follow the Dream Network at Dream. I mentioned it at the start of the show. We're all members of the Dream Network, as you can see. And if you, in the chat right now, type !Dream, or if you check the description of the video, you check out the Dream Network, find out when we're live, find out when the next State of the Realm is. All that fun stuff. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. And
Forums.
what? Can we all
Check
wave
out the forums. We
check
have
out the
forums
forums.
too.
We got
Forums are
forums.
great.
Forums.
Forums.
I got the forums.
Art
Yes,
contest.
forums.
Art contest.
Yeah, we have an
Just
art
art
contest
contest?
too. Good call.
Check
Yeah,
it
we
out.
have an art contest going on there. I mentioned it last week. But if you want to check out all the information about that art contest, check it out there. You have a chance at winning some swag, some Dream Network swag if you have an artistic touch. Check it out. I'll include that in the description. Include that in the chat as well. Everyone, anything else before we forget? Before we finally call it a show? Because we keep remembering things.
Take
All
them
the
in bits and
things.
pieces.
All the things?
All the things.
We'll remember in the post show. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Until then, take care. Everyone wave goodbye at once. Everyone just wave. Bye. Bye. And outro.